Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. The top focus at this hour remains the story that has grabbed eyeballs and has had the world's attention for the last 1 week. It was a terror attack that struck Israel on Saturday, and since then, we've seen the conflict only intensify. An offensive, both ground and air, intensified against Hamas terrorists. Israeli defense forces are not going to stop. They are vowing retribution for all the lives that have been lost, not just of their soldiers in action, but the innocent lives that have been lost in the country in different parts as Hamas airstrikes continue. We have seen several civilian casualties in the Gaza Strip as well. Gaza residents have now been asked to evacuate by the Israeli Defense Forces to ensure that they are not caught in the crossfire. We are not going to stop is the clear message that has been sent by the Israeli Defense Forces. CNN News 18 is on ground in the midst of the conflict zone, getting you the very latest. Take a look at some of these reports.
लगातार हम इजराइल से आपको युद्ध रिपोर्ट दे रहे हैं किस तरह से इजराइल काउंटर कर रहा है हमास का गाजा पट्टी में। और इस वक्त हम लोग मौजूद हैं एक सीमा पर, गाजा पट्टी और इजराइल के सीमा पर है। यहाँ से महज कुछ किलोमीटर की दूरी पे है, लेकिन पहले आपको दिखा दे करम, आप दूसरी तरफ पहले दिखा दीजिए। इस तरफ आप देख सकते हैं तोप, इस तरह के सैकड़ों तोप यहाँ इसी तरह से तैनात हैं ताकि दूसरी तरफ गाजा पट्टी की तरफ हमला किया जा सके। करम आपको हर वो तस्वीर दिखा रहे हैं। करम आप और जितना हो सके नजदीक से तस्वीरों को दिखाइए। आप देख सकते हैं ये तोप, हर तरफ आपको तोप दिखेगा। ये तोप हर तरफ मोर्चे पे तोप है। ये बीच बीच में एक तोप से बीच बीच में हमला किया जाता है। ये एक है, आप दूसरी तरफ आपको करम दिखाएंगे। हर तरफ हर ऊंची नीची भूमि है, तो यहाँ से थोड़ा सा ये एक फ्रेम में लाना सबके लिए मुश्किल है, लेकिन आप देख सकते हैं किस तरह से हमला किया जा रहा है और बार बार मूवमेंट हो रहा है। बार बार बीच बीच में 10 से 15 मिनट के बीच में या कभी कभी 5 से 10 मिनट के बीच में इस तरह से हमला किया जाता है तोप से। देखिए दूसरी तरफ से जो हमारी कैमरे पे हमारी आंखों की नज़र में तोप नहीं है, उससे अभी हमला किया गया गाजा पट्टी की तरफ। और यहाँ देखा आपने, देखा ये लाइव रिपोर्टिंग गाजा पट्टी पर इजराइल के जवाब की यहाँ से हम न्यूज 18 इंडिया आपको लगातार दे रहे हैं।
The offensive is escalating by Israeli Defense Forces, but the caught in the crossfire are innocent, unarmed civilians, the ones that were attacked on Saturday. The first trigger point, the first attack that came to the fore in the wee hours of Saturday when the music festival was attacked by Hamas terrorists. Since then, we've seen several hostages being taken as well. Joining us here on this broadcast is someone who unfortunately has her parents that are held hostage by Hamas terrorists. Sharon Lifts joining us live from London. Sharon, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. I understand these are difficult times, unfortunate circumstances that we are speaking in. And I thank you so much for joining us and taking out the time and speaking to us about what really is happening there. If I could ask you, when was the last time you had contact with your parents?
I had contact with them, my family had contact with them on Saturday morning. So about an hour and a half after the start of the the offensive by Gaza on Israel.
And since then, has there been no contact with anyone else perhaps that they lived with, or anyone from the Israeli administration that has gotten in touch with you to let you know what has transpired in the last 6 days?
We have not heard of them. There's been a list released of 120 hostages, but we are not on that list. My parents are not on that list.
Ms. Lifts, I just want to ask you this. We do know that several people have been held hostage. The administration there in Israel is still trying to account for a lot of them. But if you're saying that those your parents' names are not on the list, how did the news actually reach you that they were taken hostage by Hamas terrorists?
We know that the Hamas have been there. They have killed and maimed and destroyed and raped and done every crime against humanity. We know that when my parents' house was finally reached by the Israeli forces, they were not there and they were not found. So the bodies were not found, and on the basis of that and of account by people that were there, we know that many people, about 80 people out of my little community, are missing and held hostages. We know people that were taken and then managed to run away. that have told us the stories.
And we've heard the kind of barbarism that we've witnessed over the last few days, stories that are coming to the fore of absolute shock, of the kind of treatment, the kind of hostilities that have been imposed on innocent civilians by Hamas terrorists. If I could ask you, your parents were there very close to the Gaza Strip. In what capacity were they there? For how long were they living there? And what really have they experienced so far before, of course, terror struck on Saturday?
My parents are 85 and 83. They've spent their life building this little kibbutz called Nir Oz, which is less than a mile than Gaza Strip. In previous years, many years ago, we had very close relationship with our neighbors before things got hotter. But my parents always fought for peace. My father was always a peace activist. He spent his retirement day a week driving Palestinian people to and from the Gaza Strip to hospital in East Jerusalem, which is the divided part of the Palestinian territories, and between other Israeli hospitals. He believed in humanity. He believed in finding a way to live together, in supporting each other, humanity. He never felt that we are here and they are there and they don't count. It's quite a cruel twist of the fate that such a peace-loving community is the one to be at the far front of such an atrocity.
And it's not really the Palestinian cause or the aspirations of the Palestinian people that really is what Hamas stands for, isn't it? They'd like the world to believe that. But they are a terror organization, and all that they have done is put unarmed innocent civilians in the middle of this crossfire. Unfortunately, your parents are also among them.
Yes, and they're taken simply for being of, Jewish or Israeli. But I totally agree with you that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people, that the Palestinian people of Gaza are under a very cruel and totalitarian regime in which there is no space for dissenting voices. And so we know for sure that these people cannot speak freely. I think that the rest of the world should now treat the Palestinian people and the Hamas terrorist organization as two very different things. And I'm very happy to hear that in the media in India, you are making such a clear distinction between the two. It is harder to achieve that in the West.
Absolutely, that's really what it is. We should call a spade a spade. This is a terror organization unleashing terror on civilians, on the unarmed, on the innocent, and that's really what it is. That's really where we should draw the line. One last question before I let you go, Ms. Livs. What is it that now you would want from the Israel government, from the administration, at the very least, perhaps some kind of communication to you?
I would like to do everything, to risk everything, to return the parents, the grandparents, the babies, the children, the disabled, the spectrum children. We want them back. We lost our home. Our home is burned down, but we want them back to our community so we can try and help them to regain some sense of security and normality. This is absolutely urgent. We cannot bury the dead. We don't care now about, we need to work for their immediate release. It's against any convention to have them held hostage. You do not take an 85-year-old woman off her oxygen as a hostage. This is just pure quality. There's not about me and them. There's just human decency. We look after our people, and our people are the citizens of this universe.
Absolutely, this is a crime against humanity. It's not against one nationality. It's not against one particular country. It is against humanity, and that's what really it should be. We really do hope, Ms. Livs, that you get in touch with your parents at the earliest. And thank you so much for speaking with us at such difficult times. Thank you for taking the time out. The conflict there is taking innumerable lives. All innocent, unarmed ones, even toddlers and babies are being murdered in the airstrikes that we have witnessed, not just in Israel, but even in Gaza. It is the innocent that are caught in the crossfire, and that's the most unfortunate bit, which is why this should be called a terror attack, a terror organization that's unleashing its worst possible in the Middle East, there in the West Asia, where we're seeing this conflict only escalate. Abhishek Jha, my colleague, in fact, joining us from the midst of the conflict zone. Abhishek, you're not very far from the Gaza border is what we're learning. If you could take us through what exactly is happening there.
I'm like about 2 to 3 kilometers from Gaza border, where most of the deployment of armored vehicles and tanks of Israeli army is, and they are firing incessantly, targeting Hamas holdouts across the strip that is in Gaza. We know that about 6,000. That is the number Israeli government have been putting. That 6,000 missiles or rockets have been founded on Gaza in the last 7 days almost, ever since that attack on Israeli settlements have happened. The settlement that I am currently standing is Ashkelon settlement, and that is part of Sedrot. You can still hear some sounds of firing going on, some rockets hitting different places, and this is the highly secure zone. Security forces are very alert and alarmed here. Multiple checkpoints have been formed, and if you could see, there are certain uh, remnants or traces of what has happened on 7th October when the number of hundreds of rockets were targeting Sedrot, and these are the burned, the forest area that was burned because of the number of rockets that were found in the city. So the situation now looks like pretty much under control of Israeli forces, and they have restored control, and their defense lines have been strengthened. The front lines where we are almost there is continuously trying to engage across the Gaza Strip. They are trying to target militant hideouts in Gaza Strip, and this is how the counter-offensive operations are going on. Today we also saw dozens of tanks and other armored vehicles moving towards Gaza, and it looked like some massive operation is being prepared because amassing that number of troops or that number of armored vehicles to will only give superiority in terms of territorial gain or territorial attack if Israeli side would want to have on the Gaza side. Aerial superiority or the combatant superiority in terms of air power is already with the Israeli government. We know the naval assets of USA has already moved in the Mediterranean Sea, and that gives Israel a kind of a superpower in this region. And if any other country also tries to engage or to back Hamas militants, probably the US naval assets are deployed here to deter any such possibilities in the days to come.
And Abhishek, we are going to see that offensive only intensify both by air and by ground, which is also why a warning has been given to several residents, several Palestinian residents of Gaza Strip also, isn't it, that they must evacuate. The Israeli Defense Forces have asked them to leave and move to the southern side.
Well, about 1.2 million, that is the figure that has been given. Number of people in Gaza, they have been asked to move towards southern side because the side which is connected towards Israel is going to face massive launch of military operation in the days to come, and to minimize the casualties, to limit the number of civilian fatalities. This is what Israeli forces are trying to do. They're trying to encourage people and persuade them to move southwards. That would take them some few dozen kilometers away from the targets of Israeli military attack, and that is to ensure that no major civilian casualty happens. We know about 150. That is the number of hostages that is still under the control of militant Hamas in the Gaza, and that is also one of the reasons why Israeli forces have been a bit apprehensive about not going all out against Hamas militant in the Gaza region, and also the urban warfare. That is the kind of strength of Hamas militant, because they know exactly every street, every door, every building in that region. So they will have some sort of superiority when the Israeli forces will try to invade the Gaza side. And this is the reason why the Israeli IDF forces are trying to gather as much of intelligence, as much of information regarding the possible places of these militants wherever they could be, and accordingly they will make a plan, and any offensive or any counterattack will be launched in the days to come.
Right, Abhishek, do stay on with us. The fighting is only going to intensify. More civilians will be caught in the crossfire. hopefully they are not collateral damage and they are taken to safety before that happens, and it's only the Hamas targets and Hamas terrorists that are targeted. We are taking you through reports that are coming in of how these Palestinian civilians are being warned to move to safety. Take a look.
Israeli tanks amassed at the border with Gaza ahead of an expected ground invasion. Its military on Friday warned more than 1 million Palestinians to move south within the next 24 hours. Israel has pounded Gaza from the air since Hamas's bloody attack on the weekend, the deadliest by Palestinian militants in its history, and has since vowed to annihilate Hamas. In a statement, the Israeli military said it would operate significantly in Gaza City in the coming days, saying, quote, "Civilians of Gaza City, evacuate south for your own safety and the safety of your families, and distance yourself from Hamas terrorists who are using you as human shields."
אבל עכשיו זו עת למלחמה.
It comes after Israel's Army Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, said on Thursday, now was the time for war.
עזה לא תיראה.
Gaza will not look the same. We will reach a situation where Gaza leaders will be badly beaten. We will dismantle them. And whoever stays there will fully understand that you don't do such a thing to the state of Israel.
According to UN spokesman Stefan Dujarric, Israel's military told its liaison officers that the relocation warning included the entire population of Gaza north of Wadi Gaza. That includes Gaza City, the enclave's largest city, and amounts to some 1.1 million people, or nearly half of Gaza's whole population. Dujarric urged against such a move, saying it would have devastating humanitarian consequences. Israel's ambassador to the UN slammed the UN's response as shameful. Gilad Erdan said the group should focus on condemning Hamas and supporting Israel's right to self-defense. In response to the warning, a Hamas official said it was fake propaganda and called on citizens not to fall for it.
Abhishek continues to be with us. And Abhishek, just to give a sense to our viewers of what the situation is like in different parts of Israel, you were in Tel Aviv, that's where you're staying put, but you've also moved to different parts of Israel where Hamas terror strikes have happened. You're also much closer to the Gaza border now. How different are the scenes there? Have people moved away to cities further away from the border?
Well, to some, there has been like few hundred meters away from the Gaza Strip where majorly the attacks have happened. Some of the settlements, they have been evacuated. In fact, in Tel Aviv, where we are staying, many of the hotels, they have started sheltering those people who are moving from south to Tel Aviv side. It is not very far, about 100 kilometers from where the incident of Saturday happened. Also, this is kind of culture in Israel where people or the settlements, wherever the situation of panic or any danger comes, people move toward the other side, and there is a societal or community feeling that everybody else will protect them, will give them shelter, food for a few days, and when the situation will get normal, they will move back to the respective houses. But this time, the situation in unprecedented, the security challenges is something that is going to take few weeks before the situation could be foreseen to getting normalized. And the people, some of them have moved from Gaza Strip or the nearby locations where the Israeli settlements have been attacked to other places. We are right now in Sderot, which is also had been, the target of Hamas militants. Not very far from the target area. It's about 30 kilometers from the border, and this is the range that has been pretty, convenient or comfortable for the Hamas rockets to attack. So this is the reason why the security arrangements, if you could see behind me, have been very massive in this region. They are checking every single vehicle which is passing from this location. And accordingly, we have seen continuously the movement of armored vehicles, military soldiers, tanks, and other, heavy weaponry moving on these roads. And these roads have been normally buzzing with a lot of normal traffic, commercial vehicle, people, tourists, and that is something has totally been off the road now. Vehicles are off the road, and situation has been such that people have been told not to come out until it is necessary, and they have to stay back in home. So the kind of deserted look in many cities appear, that is very scary in Israel right now.
Right, Abhishek, do stay safe and thank you so much for getting us the latest from on ground there from the conflict zone. Many questions are being raised of how Israel didn't see this coming, if they were caught napping and whether this was an intelligence failure. Those questions and their accountability will be fixed. The focus, of course, now is to eliminate Hamas terrorism, eliminate Hamas as a whole and to vow retribution as the Israeli Defense Forces have done. CNN News 18's managing editor Akash spoke with former Israeli.
I just want to know, what is the national mood like right now? You are, of course, speaking to people in power. You're speaking to ordinary citizens as well. What is the national sentiment right now in Israel? And I'm also curious to know from you, because you've been in the highest office of the land, had you been the Prime Minister when this happened, how would you have reacted? Would you have reacted any differently?
First of all, had I been in power, most likely I would have tried to avoid it altogether. I mean, I probably would have formed an entirely different policy towards Gaza and towards the Palestinian issue. But that's something that is easy to say when you are out of office. Had I been Prime Minister when such an attack would have taken place with these terrible atrocities against so many thousands of civilians, I would have reacted against the perpetrators. What exactly needs to be done, I think, is too early to say, and we have to be very careful, of course, not to give an announcement in advance to the Hamas what exactly the Israeli military operation is. We haven't started yet. Only aerial attacks for the time being. Correct. Against headquarters of the Hamas organizations in different parts of Gaza. But ground operation didn't start yet, and I don't know if and when and how the ground operation will take place. We need, I think, certain patience to get ready and to make sure that we do the right thing against the right targets and to avoid as much as we can collateral damage that will cause unnecessary suffering to people that are not involved. It's not easy because this is a very crowded urban center. Correct. And the Hamas organization is embedded and into the urban centers.
What happened in Israel on Saturday at the music festival is nothing but a terror attack, and that is the only way to look at it. There are no two ways. And that was the clear message that Prime Minister Modi too sent out. Just this morning, he was talking to speakers of the G20 nations, where he came out and said that a united fight against terror is the need of the hour, and the world must stand together at such difficult times. Listen in to that message that the Prime Minister sent out.
यह शांति और भाईचारे का समय है, साथ मिलकर चलने का समय है, साथ आगे बढ़ने का समय है। यह सबके विकास और कल्याण का समय है। टेररिज्म दुनिया के लिए कितनी बड़ी चुनौती है। टेररिज्म चाहे कहीं भी होता हो, किसी भी कारण से होता हो, किसी भी रूप में होता है, लेकिन वो मानवता के विरुद्ध होता है। टेररिज्म को लेकर हम सभी को लगातार सख्ती बरतनी ही होगी।
With that, it's time for a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5, but there's lots lined up for you on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto. but we decided, because of him, we decided to come back to India.
जैसे ही हमें पता चला कि इजराइल में वॉर स्टार्ट हो गया है, तो स्टार्टिंग में थोड़े दिन हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि ऐसा कुछ रॉकेट या सायरन की एक्सपेक्टेशन बहुत ज़्यादा थी. हाइफा में कल रात में एक बार सायरन बजा था, तो स्टूडेंट्स थोड़े घबरा गए थे, बट फिर बाद में जब पता चला कि वो एक फॉल्स अलार्म था, तो हाइफा में थोड़ी सुरक्षित फील कर रहे थे हम लोग, और टेक्नियन में भी काफ़ी सुरक्षा फील करा रही थी. बट उसके बाद जब मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स ने जो स्टेप लिया हम लोग को वहाँ से निकालने के लिए, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन वो बहुत सही टाइम पे लिया, क्योंकि अगर इससे ज़्यादा अगर एक दिन और या 2 दिन और रुकते तो मे बी सिचुएशन और ज़्यादा ख़राब हो सकती थी वहाँ पे.
When we are cooking, we just have to run away, switch off everything and run in just 60 seconds. So, and we have to find nearby shelters. So, I mean, still we are in that trauma, like, I think we will still need some time to get relaxed, because currently still we are hearing the sound of sirens. And
Whenever we hear any sound, it's like, okay.
Even the ambulance, like, we were just getting panicked, and even sometimes when the missiles are very close, the buildings sometimes vibrate, and that also like panic us.
I'm there since 2019, and this is the first time that we are facing this much hard situation over there. And we are very thankful to the Indian government, especially the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, for bringing us back. And we are hoping for the peace as soon as possible, so that we can go back to the work as earliest as possible. And yes, it was a horrible experience, but Israel is the safest country, I can say, because the IDF, they have good shelters and the good facilities, and our scientists, our institutions are working parallelly with us in a good manner. So yeah, we are thankful to the government, the Indian embassy. They are continuously working 24/7. So yeah, thanks to everyone. Yeah, we are very happy that we are back home. Thank you so much, everyone.
Situation was very bad over there, but of course the advanced technology over there in Israel, and because of their Iron Dome technology, and because of preparation of the bunkers in every houses. So because of that, we don't feel too much worry about that. But of course, this time the situation is very horrible. Job was tremendous by our MA Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar sir, and his team, especially in Tel Aviv, the embassy. They work tremendously, very nice over there, 24/7. And we really very grateful to be this type of government in India.
It's obviously a difficult time for all those people in Israel who've been dragged into this conflict, innocent people. As you know, today is the first flight of Operation Vijay, and this is completely in keeping with our Prime Minister's vision, Prime Minister's determination that our government, his government, will never leave any Indian behind. Any Indian anywhere in the world that finds himself or herself in harm's way, our government, our Prime Minister is determined to protect them, bring them back home safely. And I'm very glad this plane load of students and Indians have managed to fly back safely.
Barbaric attack that was launched by Hamas into Israel, both Israel and Palestine are into a state of war. And today, this day is very important because after India launched Operation Azad, this is the time when the very first special flight carrying Indian passengers is arriving here in Delhi. I'm showing you the visuals from Terminal 3. This is the same gate from where we are expecting the passengers, in fact, the Indian citizens to come out of this particular airport. This day is very important because this is The very first flight that is coming, 212 is the number that is given by the Ministry of External Affairs, and the total 212 passengers are going to land here in the national capital, and we're waiting for them, and we'll try to talk to them as to what is the ground situation in Israel as of now, and as far as the whole condition is concerned, so what they think about this condition. I'm joined by Rakesh Kumarji, who is waiting for his daughter, and his daughter is basically arriving from Israel. She is doing PhD there. I'll try to talk to Rakesh ji. Rakesh ji, आप मुझे बताएं, बेटी आ रही है, बेटी से बातचीत हो पा रही है?
हाँ, बातचीत हुई थी, कल भी हुई थी, आज जब फ्लाइट में बैठी थी तभी भी हुई थी, और डरी हुई तो है ही, हम लोग भी डरे हुए हैं, तो चिंता तो थी। जब से ये हुआ है, बमबारी हो रही थी, आवाजें भी सुनाई दे रही थी, बता रही थी, लेकिन अब थोड़ा सा नॉर्मल हुआ है कुछ उसके। जी जी।
तो जिस दिन ये अटैक हुआ, हम सब यहाँ चिंता में थे और देख भी रहे थे कितनी बर्बरता हो रही है वहाँ पर।
आपके न्यूज़ चैनल पर मालूम पड़ रही थी हम लोगों को कि क्या हो रहा है वहाँ पे, इस वजह से और ज्यादा चिंताएं हो रही थी कि क्या है।
तो आपको बताया कि वहाँ क्या कंडीशन है और जिस जगह पर आपकी बेटी?
लेकिन वो लड़की बहुत स्ट्रांग है, उसने कही पापा टेंशन नहीं, मैं ठीक हूँ, लेकिन माँ बाप हैं तो चिंता तो रहेगी।
और आप कहाँ से हैं? यूपी के?
यूपी एटा से हूँ सर।
अच्छा, और कितने सालों से बेटी बाहर है इसराइल में?
एक साल से फर्स्ट ईयर है उसकी।
अच्छा, ये पहली फ्लाइट है, पहली फ्लाइट में मौका मिल गया, और भी बहुत लोग हैं, क्या कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? ऑपरेशन अजय सरकार ने लॉन्च?
नहीं, ये सरकार बहुत कर रही है और आप चिंता न करें, हमारे विदेश मंत्री बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं और सब लोग सुरक्षित आएंगे। ये निश्चित है कि हर बच्चा सुरक्षित आएगा।
कहीं ना कहीं विश्वास था कि
बच्ची को विश्वास था, हम लोगों को गार्जियंस को विश्वास था कि मोदी जी पहले भी कर चुके हैं, भविष्य में भी उन्होंने किया है, और वो करेंगे और सबको बच्चों को सुरक्षित लेके आएंगे यहाँ पे।
एक आखिरी सवाल, क्योंकि अभी जो हम सिचुएशन वहाँ देख रहे हैं, जो स्थिति वहाँ देख रहे हैं, युद्ध चल रहा है एक तरह से, दोनों तरफ से गोले दागे जा रहे हैं, मिसाइल और रॉकेट दागे जा रहे हैं, मुझे बताइए कि क्या कुछ आप देखते हैं, कब तक सिचुएशन नॉर्मल होगी, और क्या आपको लगता है कि बेटी कब वापस जा पाएगी या भेजेंगे वापस?
वो मुझे तो लगता है कि बहुत जल्दी बात सही होगी। हो सकता है कि 15 दिन लग जाए, 1 महीना लग जाए, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा नहीं चलेगा, जहाँ तक मेरी सोच है।
वापस भेजेंगे बेटी?
बिल्कुल भेजेंगे।
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. And the story we're tracking at this hour is the Enforcement Directorate's investigation into the betting scam, a 200 crore wedding that blew the lid off a 5,000 crore alleged scam that is now under investigation. The Mahadev betting app and its links to Pakistan are also being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. That's the latest as far as the investigation stand. We're given to understand that the main accused in this case, the founder of the Mahadev betting app, has alleged links with Dawood Ibrahim's brother. We're given to understand that they were also looking to replicate such a model in Pakistan, and those links are now under the scanner. The Enforcement Directorate is investigating whether such an app did actually make it to Pakistan, and if so, what role was played by the Mahadev betting app founder, Mr. Nakar, and Dawood Ibrahim's associates. Yasha, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Yasha, what more can you tell us? Where does the ED's investigation stand?
So yes, ED investigation has in fact revealed the links of Saurabh Chandrakar to Dawood Ibrahim's brother, that is Mr. Kaskar. In fact, it has also been found out that it was Saurabh Chandrakar, Ravi Uppal and Kaskar who had got into a partnership to form an app called Khelo Yaar app for Pakistan. Apart from that, details have emerged about how the partnership was formed after leaving India in 1986. Kaskar, who had a Pakistani passport, used to visit UAE. Apart from that, he runs his businesses from Pakistan, UAE as well as Saudi, wherein as a part of their partnership, he offered a villa to both Saurabh Chandrakar as well as Ravi Uppal. And during one of these visits, both of them had met and decided to form this very app called Khelo Yaar app, which was also one of the key sponsors for Sri Lanka's Premier League, a T20 form of cricket. Apart from that, details about Saurabh Chandrakar, who has been on the run ever since the ED has investigated the case, revealed the fact that he has been hiding from the agencies, also moving around in bulletproof Rolls-Royce. All of these details are available with the agencies, but agencies who are further investigating this case have also found out that he had plans to make certain investments not only around Mumbai but in Madhya Pradesh as well. In fact, there were several high-profile brokers who were helping Chandrakar find a plot of land very close to Mumbai where he wanted to make a resort. Apart from that, there have been several plots which have been invested by Saurabh Chandrakar and Ravi Uppal in Madhya Pradesh. Particularly, there are huge pieces of land which they both had purchased at Madhya Pradesh. All of this is under the ED investigation. However, apart from that, ED has also been able to find out that there are these panel operators, more than 4,000 to 5,000 of them, which are operating in India. They could be key to several of these investments or several of these properties, which are there in the name of Saurabh Chandrakar as well as Ravi Uppal. So now the role of these panel operators is also being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. Yes.
Right, do keep a track of where the investigation leads. For the moment, Yasha, thank you so much for getting us the latest. We are shifting focus now to the biggest rivalry as far as cricket is concerned. It's India versus Pakistan tomorrow as the ICC One-Day International World Cup is underway. It is a match that is being looked forward not just here in India but Pakistan as well. The world is watching. Ahmedabad is all decked up to host the two teams and of course all the fans who've gathered there. Take a look at some of these reports from Ahmedabad.
This is the Maidan-e-Jang that we have been talking about. We are inside the Grand Narendra Modi International Cricket Stadium, the biggest cricket stadium in the world, with the seating capacity of 132,000. As you can see, there are chairs everywhere. This is going to turn a blue sea tomorrow. In fact, a lot of Indian players are still waiting to get their hands on the tickets, but it's sadly unavailable, not there in the markets anymore. The hotel prices are also soaring high. This is International Cricket Stadium, Narendra Modi International Cricket Stadium here in Ahmedabad, surpassing the seating capacity of Melbourne Cricket Stadium, which had 90,000 seats. We have here 132,000 seats, people waiting outside of the stadium. They will be pouring in tomorrow. This entire seats, as you can see, these are orange colored seats, will be turned into blue tomorrow. Since Ahmedabad is all ready for the big India versus Pakistan, which is slated to happen tomorrow here from the Narendra Modi International Cricket Stadium, the biggest cricket stadium in the world, and we are expecting a blue brigade right outside and inside of the stadium as well. And to help people for that, as you can see, that they are selling all sorts of jersey with Kohli written at the back of it. Rohit Sharma as well. We have got some jerseys for Hardik Pandya as well and Shubman Gill. Let's talk to the jersey people a little bit, how they are actually helping out people to maintain that blue sea for their favorite cricket team. भैया कितने दूर से आप आए हैं?
मुंबई से.
मुंबई से आप जर्सीज यहाँ पे बेचने के लिए आए हैं?
मुंबई.
और इस बार तो मतलब अच्छी कमाई हो रही होगी क्योंकि इतने सारे लोग आ रहे बाहर से.
हाँ हो रही.
हाँ.
हाँ
कितना अभी तक कितने में आप एक जर्सी कितने में बेच रहे हैं?
एक 250 का बेचते.
250. They are selling the jerseys outside Narendra Modi International Cricket Stadium.
We are shifting focus now to some breaking news that's coming in from the war zone from Israel. Israel's defense minister, in fact, has now come out and said that it is an axis between the Hamas, the Hezbollah and Iran. Remember, several questions were being raised at Iran's role and involvement as to the Hamas terror attack that began on Saturday and continues even now. Now, the defense minister of Israel has come out and said, in fact, it is an axis and they're all acting in connivance to unleash terror on innocent, unarmed civilians in the country of Israel. They're all one axis, Hezbollah, Hamas and Iran. Remember, Iran on multiple occasions has denied any involvement or link to any of these attacks that were unleashed by Hamas over the last few days. It all began on Saturday morning when the music festival was targeted. Since then, we've seen several civilian deaths take place, several injuries that have taken place at the hands of the strikes that were unleashed by Hamas across Israel. We'll get you more details of what exactly is happening there, but world leaders are making a beeline for Israel. We had Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State of the United States. We also had the Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, who was, both of whom who were in Tel Aviv. They pledged their support to Israel and to the Netanyahu government in this fight against terror, in this fight against Hamas. Military aid, financial aid has also been extended by the United States. We have world leaders, most of the Western powers stand with Israel in this fight against terror. Strong condemnation has come to the fore from across quarters about this terror attack. Siddhant, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Siddhant, we've seen several foreign dignitaries make a beeline to Israel to pledge their support to the fight against Hamas. We've had two top leaders, two top diplomats of the Biden administration in Tel Aviv as well. But this involvement of Iran is something that Israel is going to push forth with, even though Iran has denied any involvement.
That's right, Poonam. And in fact, Poonam, whatever little conversation I had with the officials back in Israel, they are not naming Qatar at all. They are not naming Lebanon or any other country. All their focus is on Tehran. All their focus is to blame Iran for what has happened. And this is perhaps has been reiterated by the defense minister in the press conference which happened a few minutes back in Tel Aviv, in which he again said that Iran, Hezbollah and Hamas are one axis. In fact, a senior guy in the intelligence of Mossad has told us that the Iran's Revolutionary Guard top commander was in Lebanon on 7th of October when Hamas attacked Israel. So, that is what they are saying is a proof, the biggest proof that they are going to put forth for the world communities to see that how Iran is involved in what Hamas has done. And the second most important point, the point that what Israel is highlighting, Poonam, is that with the precision that they attack, the sophistication with the paragliders, drones, and with the design, the way they designed this entire attack, it is again a proof that Hamas cannot do it all on its own. It requires a bigger power to support him. This level of precision, clinical methods require a bigger power for the support, and that Israel alleged that Iran has played a role. And the same has been reiterated by Defense Minister in a press conference today. Back to you.
Right, so then stay on with me. Several citizens from around the world, Israeli nationals, are coming back to fight the war, to join their forces against this fight against terror. We also now have a popular actor from Israel, one who has featured in the series Fauda, that has now joined this fight against Hamas, joined the Israeli Defense Forces on ground. He in fact has decided to join active combat duty to defend his country. Listen.
רציתי להגיד לכם שבצד הדבר הנורא והחשוב הזה, שבתוכו גם חברים ואנשים יקרים שלנו שאיבדנו, המורד שלנו גבוה, אנחנו מבינים היטב למה אנחנו כאן, אנחנו פה לשמור על הילדים שלנו, על המשפחות שלנו, על הבית שלנו, ואני רוצה להבטיח לכם שאנחנו לא נפסיק עד שננצח. אני רוצה גם להגיד תודה רבה לכל האזרחים היקרים במדינה ששולחים לנו חבילות כל הזמן. כל יום מקבלים מיליוני דברים. ואת המכתבים היפים שאתם כותבים לנו, ואת הציורים של הילדים. אז תודה רבה, זה מחזק אותנו, אני אוהב אתכם, אני מקווה שנחזור לזמנים משקעים.
Several actors like him have joined this fight. Several Israeli nationals, like I mentioned, from world over are now returning. They want to join forces with their army to ensure that Hamas is decimated. That's the kind of resolve the country has as one. We'll keep a track of that and much more here on this edition of Nation at 5. For now, a quick break.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto.
1,200 dead, 1,200. In Gaza, the number has crossed 900, and we know that there are still many hundreds of people who are still injured.
यहाँ ये देखिए 10 के बाद गिनती यहाँ लगातार आपको 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 लगातार इस तरह से सड़क पे बुलेट बिखरा पड़ा है.
They are continuously targeting those places or those holdouts where militants could be possibly hiding.
You can see the amount of blood. This was a massacre.
This is one of the paragliders that flew in here. You can see the engine here.
You can see here armored personnel carriers, and you see soldiers all here preparing for the next phase of this war.
Attack.
Where would
Brought to you by
ये तो घटना होती रहती है और देशों में भी होती रहती है. ऐसा नहीं आना जाना बंद हो जाएगा, पढ़ाई बंद हो जाएगी, नहीं जाएगी, निश्चित जाएगी.
I'm joined by Deepak, who has just arrived here in Delhi from Israel, and he boarded probably the special flight, first flight. So you tell me first of all, what is the condition there?
This is condition there is like not so good, I would say, and I don't know how it will happen in coming days. So that's the good step by government to evacuate us as soon as possible.
You were staying in which part, if I can ask?
I stay near Tel Aviv, that is in the center. So I stay in central Israel.
You know, we heard of this barbaric attack that was launched by Hamas. You know, if you can describe the situation in Tel Aviv specifically.
Well, that day, it happened on Saturday, so we were just sleeping, and suddenly, there was siren. So in my part, it was just siren, because the attack was mostly in the southern part. So, yeah, we were staying in the shelter for 3 hours, just waking up in the morning and going to shelter. Yeah.
And what about the tickets? Because they are saying that you don't have to pay anything. Government is paying all the expenses. Is it like that?
Yeah. This ticket is free, and we got. You can see lots of food in the flight also, and here also.
Are you going back? If you are you going to be back in Israel?
Yes, I will go back definitely. I will go definitely.
I am posted by Air India as Tel Aviv airport manager. Tel Aviv. I've been there from last 10 months now. And with that evacuation, Air India protected us, and now we are protecting our Indians over there, and brought us first evacuation flight today. All went on good, so there was no problem as such. But it is you have to be careful because something big happening. But it all went very good, no problem. Yeah, it's tense. Situation is very tense. But now it is there, we have to face it.
Live in southern part, the city is Vidrisha. It's safe, but because of him, we decided to come back to India.
जैसे ही हमें पता चला कि इजराइल में वॉर स्टार्ट हो गया है, तो स्टार्टिंग में थोड़े दिन हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि ऐसा कुछ रॉकेट या सायरन की एक्सपेक्टेशन बहुत ज़्यादा थी. हाइफा में कल रात में एक बार सायरन बजा था, तो स्टूडेंट्स थोड़े घबरा गए थे, बट फिर बाद में जब पता चला कि वो एक फॉल्स अलार्म था, तो हाइफा में थोड़ी सुरक्षित फील कर रहे थे हम लोग, और टेक्नियन में भी काफ़ी सुरक्षा फील करा रही थी. बट उसके बाद जब मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स ने जो स्टेप लिया हम लोग को वहाँ से निकालने के लिए, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन वो बहुत सही टाइम पे लिया, क्योंकि अगर इससे ज़्यादा अगर एक दिन और या 2 दिन और रुकते तो मे बी सिचुएशन और ज़्यादा खराब हो सकती थी वहाँ पे.
When we are cooking, we have to run away, switch off everything and run in just 60 seconds. So, and we have to find nearby shelters. So, I mean, still we are in that trauma, I think we will still need some time to get relaxed, because currently still we are hearing the sound of sirens, and Yeah,
Whenever
and
we hear any sound, it's like, okay. It's
yeah,
time, we have
even
to
the
go to site.
ambulance, like we were just getting panicked, and even sometimes when the missiles are very close, the buildings sometimes vibrate, and that also like panic us.
I'm there since 2019, and this is the first time that we are facing this much hard situation over there. And we are very thankful to the Indian government, especially the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, for bringing us back. And we are hoping for the peace as soon as possible so that we can go back to the work as earliest as possible. And yes, it was a horrible experience, but Israel is the safest country, I can say, because the IDF, they have good shelters and the good facilities, and our scientists, our institutions are working parallelly with us in a good manner. So yeah, we are thankful to the government, the Indian embassy. They are continuously working 24/7. So yeah, thanks to everyone. Yeah, we are very happy that we are back home. Thank you so much, everyone.
Situation was very bad over there, but of course the advanced technology over there in Israel, and because of their Iron Dome technology and because of preparation of the bunkers in every houses. So because of that, we don't feel too much worry about that. But of course, this time the situation is very horrible. Job was tremendous by our MA Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar sir, and his team, especially in Tel Aviv, the embassy. They work tremendously, very nice over there, 24/7, and we really very grateful to be this type of government in India.
It's obviously a difficult time for all those people in Israel who've been dragged into this conflict, innocent people. As you know, today is the first flight of Operation Vijay, and this is completely in keeping with our Prime Minister's vision, Prime Minister's determination that our government, his government, will never leave any Indian behind. Any Indian anywhere in the world that finds himself or herself in harm's way, our government, our Prime Minister is determined to protect them, bring them back home safely. And I'm very glad this plane load of students and Indians have managed to fly back safely.
Barbaric attack that was launched by Hamas into Israel. Both Israel and Palestine are into a state of war, and today, this day is very important because after India launched Operation Azad, this is the time when the very first special flight carrying Indian passengers is arriving here in Delhi. I'm showing you the visuals from Terminal 3. This is the same gate from where we are expecting the passengers, in fact, the Indian citizens to come out of this particular airport. This day is very important because this is the very first flight that is coming. 212 is the number that is given by the Ministry of External Affairs. The total 212 passengers are going to land here.
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. Let's now get you a quick roundup of all that's made news here in the country.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
A 23-year-old woman was stabbed in broad daylight by a cab driver identified as Gaurav Pal in Ladosarai in Delhi yesterday. The stalker overpowered the woman before she could escape. A case has now been registered in the Saket police station. The family of the victim has alleged that the accused was following her around for a few days. He has now been arrested. CEC meeting of the Congress party is being held today. This is in connection with deciding on who will contest elections in Madhya Pradesh and Telangana. Remember, the Congress party has not released its list for Madhya Pradesh or Telangana yet. The meeting began at 11 a.m. this morning. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued an orange alert in 3 districts of Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam and Pathanamthitta. Earlier, yellow alerts were issued to 6 other districts. Heavy rainfall has battered the state both yesterday and today. A massive fire broken out in a plastic factory near Udyog Nagar metro station in New Delhi. As many as 26 fire tenders were pressed into action. No casualties were reported. A probe has now been launched. Air quality levels in Delhi started dripping considerably since yesterday. They've now entered the poor category. Every year, due to stubble burning, we see air quality dip due to stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana, sometimes reaching the dangerously hazardous levels as well.
कल एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स पुअर कैटेगरी में रहा है दिन भर, और आज भी ये अभी एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स 237 है जो पुअर कैटेगरी में आता है, और आगे आज और कल ये पुअर कैटेगरी में ही बने रहने की संभावना है। लेकिन 15 तारीख के बाद क्योंकि बारिश के कुछ संभावना है, तो उम्मीद है कि एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स में भी अच्छा सुधार आएगा।
BSF recovered a consignment of 2.2 kilograms of substance which is suspected to be heroin. This was found on the 9th of October 12th in near a village near the India-Pakistan international border. The value of the recovered contraband is estimated to be around 12 crore rupees. BSF has been on constant alert about such infiltrations coming in from the other side of the border. Excitement is building amongst the sports community and fans there, because we are going to be seeing the 141st IOC session, which is the International Olympic Association session that takes place in Mumbai. The decision will be taken of inclusion of several other sports. Cricket is one of them. That pitch was being made by several sports persons here in the country as well. Listen in to what the IOC president had to say.
With regard to the sports program of Los Angeles 28, the IOC had to take three different decisions. First, it was about the proposal of the Los Angeles Organizing Committee to introduce 5 new sports, and these 5 sports are baseball, softball, flag football, lacrosse sixes, squash, and cricket. These proposals have been accepted as a package by the IOC Executive Board. We will work with the ICC there, as we do in all sports. We are not working with different national franchises. We are working with the respective international federation, and we are looking forward to receiving their ideas how to use this inclusion in the Olympic program to make cricket even more popular across the globe.
Will India host the 2036 Olympics? Well, that definitely is the goal, and India is working towards this, was the confirmation coming in from the Union Sports Minister, Anurag Thakur. Listen in to that exclusive conversation.
पेरिस 24 पे निगाहें हैं कि 2036 अहमदाबाद पे निगाहें?
तो हमारी दोनों पे निगाहें. पेरिस 2024 we should give India's best performance, but 2036 I'm also preparing a roadmap for our athletes, federations, that what should be our target for the 2036, that we are preparing, that how many medals India can win by 2036, which are the games we need to focus, what is required to achieve that target. So we are preparing that document. At the same time, we are also looking at 2036 to host the Olympics in India.
So we will bid for it.
We should bid for India. Why not? New India has new aspirations, new hopes, and I think New India can achieve it.
Israel has seen more than 1,200 dead, 1,200. In Gaza, the number has crossed 900, and we know that there are still many hundreds of people who are still injured.
यहाँ ये देखिए 10 के बाद गिनती यहाँ लगातार आपको 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 लगातार इस तरह से सड़क पे बुलेट बिखरा पड़ा है.
They are continuously targeting those places or those holdouts where militants could be possibly hiding.
You can see the amount of blood. This was a massacre.
This is one of the paragliders that flew in here. You can see the engine here.
You can see here armored personnel carriers, and you see soldiers all here preparing for the next phase of this war.
Attack.
Where would
India is hosting speakers of parliaments of G20 nations. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated that conference this morning, and the President of the Mexican Senate tied Prime Minister Modi a Rakhi. Leaving you with those visuals.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto.